You got a lot of shit for your shit talking of the Beastie Boys. I noticed.
Yeah, I did take a lot of shit for the Beastie Boys, but I stand by my decision. I don't get what they do. I don't get why.
That's okay. You don't get what they do. I understand that.
All right,
let's do Gran Torino the Beastie Boys. I'll let you. That's allowable.
It's not a Gran Torino. You don't have to be Gran Torino to hate the Beastie Boys.
No. You don't. You were saying that Poison were better musicians than the Beastie Boys, who were legit musicians.
I am Vinnie Tortorich, and folks, welcome to the Friday show. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean. I had a different Friday show that was going to come out today, but I saw something on Twitter. I don't think I've ever had this many people send me the same video this fast ever on Twitter. Everybody's like, dude, you got to see this. This can't be real. And I tweeted it at Anna Vocino. I said, Anna, look at this. And we decided to preempt our regular podcast today, our regular Friday show. And we're doing this show instead. It's coming out this Friday. We're doing it on a Tuesday. So this show will be out on Friday, whatever. At any rate, the person who's going to be here with me today is your favorite and mine, the woman that makes it all happen, the woman that puts the glitter in my sparkle. I can't even say that. I'm talking about Miss Anna Vocino. How you doing, Pumpkin?
I'm doing great. I've never been accused of putting the glitter in anyone's sparkle. So you just I feel like you're buttering me up before what's going to be a really irritating show for both of us.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to try to keep it on the level because, and by the way, before we start, and we won't talk about what it is yet because I have a few other things to talk about. But the thing I want you guys to realize is this is real. We're not making this up. We vetted this guy. He's actually really talking about this stuff. And it just goes to show you how anyone can say anything. And he's got advanced degrees and everything else. So it's pretty interesting what's going on out there. But I don't get it. Anna, I want to talk to you a little bit about coffee before we get going.
I know about that.
I know right here, folks, if you're watching on YouTube, Anna and I are both guzzling coffee right now during the show. When I was a kid, and I've told this story several times, but there's new people all the time listening to this show. When I was a kid, I started drinking coffee. According to my parents, it could be as early as 4 years old. And that's because...
That's weird.
Well, here's the deal. My grandparents lived right next door. I was enamored with my grandfather. My dad was a great dad. His dad was also a great dad. We all loved this man. It was like we had two dads. My other grandfather died young on my mom's side, but we lived right next door. And we were at that house as much as we were at our own house. And I would sleep there several days a week. And my grandfather, who was the hardest working man I've ever met in life, ever, period. And I know everyone goes, my grandfather was hard. The guy had two jobs and never took a vacation and on and on and on. I could go on and on. You will think I'm making it up. So I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, he would get up at around 3:30 in the morning. Every morning. And I would hear him wake up from the other bedroom. It was a little tiny shotgun style house that they lived in. My grandparents were not rich by any means, nor were we. And I would hear him wake up and I can hear the floor creaking and the floorboards and the whole thing. I would wake up too and go meet him in the kitchen. I can already smell the eggs, the bacon. It was all going at the same time. It was just, you want to talk about Norman Rockwell in the early mid 1960s for me and my grandfather. That's what it was, you know. And we would sit there while he would feed me some breakfast with him, and we would play cards. He had this little card game, and we would play cards across the table.
Camera.
And hey, Who's that? Is that Lauren? Anyway, he would also give me coffee. He would drink black coffee, but he would give me coffee and pour milk in it. And of course, my coffee looked kind of, brownish. It was just brown.
Like chocolate milk, but it was coffee milk.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure there was sugar in it. I think he stirred some sugar in it for me, and it tasted good. So whenever my mom would give me a glass of milk, whenever I'd go home, I would say no. And of course, I had a hearing problem, and they would have to figure out what I was saying. I would go, I would try to explain, color is wrong. It's brown. I need brown, or whatever I would say to them. And they didn't get it until they figured out my grandfather was putting coffee in my milk.
But what did they think about that?
They were okay with it. They because they didn't look at coffee as a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right. And we didn't know it at the time, but I went all the way through junior high school, primary school, drinking coffee. I was a coffee guy. I remember by the time I got to junior high, I got into black coffee with sugar in it. And then I got into black coffee without sugar. And I would want it three different ways. Sometimes I wanted it black with not condensed milk, evaporated milk. Don't ask me why. My grandmother would use that. The high fat evaporated milk.
I was going to say, doesn't evaporated milk, doesn't it have a sweeter flavor? Or no, that's condensed milk.
No, that's condensed milk. It is basically full of sugar. So I would have it, with evaporated milk. Don't ask. My grandmother used to do it that way. Maybe it was a cheaper milk. I don't know why people used it, but she used it. I would have it with that. Sometimes I would have it with evaporated milk and sugar. Sometimes I would have it black with sugar. Sometimes I would have it black. I started enjoying coffee every which way you can. I also enjoyed our family doctor, Dr. Hirsch. She was our next door neighbor once we moved down the street. My mom grew up with Dr. Hirsch. They were good friends because in Donaldsonville, in the Deep South, they like to keep the Jews and the Italians in one area so they keep an eye on everybody, right? So the Jews, the Italians, and any of the black folks all lived together, right? It was all one area. And at any rate, my mom would send us to go get physicals to Dr. Hirsch. And he would always say to me, I know you drink coffee. And I would go, yeah. And he would go, just be careful. Don't drink too much. And I would say, why? And he would go, because too much is not good for you. And I would say, but is a little bit good? He goes, yeah, it's fine. And but you got to understand, I'm like a 12-year-old, right?
Right.
Because I was 12. And I would go, so wait, a little bit is good, but too much is not good. He goes, yeah, you don't want to drink too much. And I would go, why? And this conversation continued with him. It continued with whenever I would get physicals in New Orleans when I was in college. They would serve us coffee before we went to football practice. We had those big, giant, cylinders, and we would just drink coffee out of plastic cups going out towards the field, right? And the doctors would go, not too much, not good. Hypertension, heart disease. It can,
heart disease.
All kinds of problems.
Jesus.
When I was young, I remember.
Okay, scientist, football coach. Thank you.
I remember these were not the football coaches. We had team doctors when I was at Tulane.
Oh.
And I remember in high school, some of the nuns would go, don't drink too much coffee. It'll stunt your growth. Everybody had a problem with coffee. It wasn't until later in life when I figured out that it was a campaign started by a grain company, C.W. Post, who wanted to make coffee the number one drink in the world next to water. He wanted to bastardize it so that he can sell his product, his postum. Basically, he was burning oats, and you would pour water over burnt oats, and you would
making like pablum.
Yeah, pablum. He was trying to make something that looked and tasted like coffee. And it didn't have caffeine. It didn't have anything. It was just crap. It was like if you took a dirty sock and boiled it and then waited till it cooled and drank that water. I'm not making this up. That's what postum tasted like. So he got that campaign going through his friends who owned newspapers back in the day. The same kind of thing that happened to hemp and marijuana.
Didn't that guy kill himself?
Post.
I thought Postum killed himself.
I don't know. Can you look that up while
I'm
I'm telling the
Googling it.
story?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's how coffee got a bad rap all the way around. Well, I'm not going to go any further into that story. You guys get it. A lot of things get red meat got a bad rap. Everything gets a bad rap. Coconut oil, because people want to sell a different kind of, it'll get a bad rap and so on and so forth. Okay. At any rate, a couple of years ago, it would go back and forth. Coffee's good for you. Coffee's bad for you. Coffee. But an extended double-blind study was done on coffee, on caffeinated and decaffeinated. And what they found was coffee, if you drink a cup of coffee, and I'm just paraphrasing this because I don't have the study in front of me anymore. If you just drink a cup of coffee every day, less chance of heart disease by 10%. Here's the thing. If you drink 2 cups, it goes to 20% and so on, right? So all of this stuff about coffee was just non-existent, right? Well, today, Serena sent me this a few minutes ago.
So I'll give 2
that's our other guy. Hang on.
Don't play that guy yet.
Oh,
and also, side note, while you find that, CW Post did kill himself because he had excruciating belly pain, and he killed himself at the age of 59. He died in Santa Barbara, California. Just wanted to throw that out there. Maybe I can go visit his grave and dance on it.
That's right. And you got all Southern. You got all Virginia when you said
I'm going to go dance on his grave.
I would dance. What kind of dance are you going to do? Are you going to do like a pole dance? Or are you going to do?
No.
I would go out there and hammer a big
jig.
pole.
I would do a jig.
Jig.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
A guy like that deserves a very feisty, not like a square dance so much as more of like a
lords of
like a Lindy Hop,
like lords of the dance, like a
like a river dance situation.
Yeah, like a river dance.
Oh yeah, I would river dance right on his grave.
That's what I would do. Like if I could dance, I would learn how to do that.
Because I feel like anyone could river dance. This is a lot of hopping.
You know what? I would learn clogging just to go dance on his grave.
Well, listen, if you come to Solvang, this is the Danish town. We sell the clogs. You and I will get his and her clogs, and we will go down to CW Post's grave, and we will dance a jig on it.
Meaning the actual wooden clogs, right? Because I have those fake, like, Dansko clogs I wear.
No, not the dance. Well, they do sell the Dansko clogs, but they also sell the wooden clogs, and we will dance a jig on his grave.
Do you realize that I bought my first pair of Dansko clogs in that town way back when I was mountain biking?
Makes sense. It's on brand.
I was there for like 3 or 4 days. There was some mountain biking in the area, and I was doing another thing. And I only brought 1 pair of tennis shoes, and they were getting wet or something. I don't know. And
Got you them clogs.
Get myself a pair of these clogs, and ended up loving them. And then I'm probably, since then, that was 25 years ago, I've probably been through 10 pair now. They last a long time. Okay. Anyway. BMC, it's a public health, operation out of England. They put this out today about coffee. Now, remember, we just discovered today.
Okay.
Serena just sent, I'm reading it off my phone. Coffee drinkers were 21% less likely to develop chronic liver disease, 20% less likely to develop chronic or fatty liver disease, and 49% less likely to die from chronic liver disease. It worked for caffeinated coffee and non-caffeinated coffee.
Oh, good.
So,
and this is what did you say? Did it fit the criteria of the studies that you like, the double blind and the
It was of course. And here's the crazy part. The thing that makes coffee, the thing that's in coffee that works in the coffee bean is something called adenosine. And that's what's good for your heart, and it's good for everything else. And
adenosine triphosphate? That's a word I've learned from being on this podcast.
I just know it's adenosine. I don't know if it's triphosphate. That could be.
The ATP is the thing that's created in the Krebs cycle.
ATP. No, it's not ATP.
Okay.
It could be adenosine. Anyway, I might be saying the word wrong because I'm thinking of ATP in the Krebs cycle. Different story, different.
Okay.
Moving on, Anna. Belcampo.
I'm not done talking about coffee.
We could get back to it.
Okay.
I got to do Belcampo in the first 1/3 of the show as part of my deal. Belcampo, folks. Belcampo.com. We have a new deal. I'm just going to come right out. Remember, it was 20% one time, Anna? Like first time 20 because they would lose money. They were losing money just to get you in the door. Mm-hmm. I went back to them and said, look, guys, we got to do something else. We got to keep my gang buying. Actually, see, I wanted to get a discount too. I was thinking about me, but I had to tell them it was, people who listen. The 5 people who pay attention to this show, you want them to come back?
Yeah.
Here's what we do.
Yeah.
Let's give them 15% every time. Now, it doesn't work on a subscription. If you do a subscription, it'll work the first time, 15%.
A subscription's already kind of discounted because you're subscribing.
Right. You see, it would be double dipping on the subscription. So it'll work, and then it'll revert back to just the regular price. But if you don't do a subscription, you just go every time and boom, 15%. And I know I made them promise to do a month. I'm going to try to beg them into a second month and a third month. But good. Right now, belcampo.com, 15% promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, no WMPY. Now, Anna, tell them a few of the things they might find if they go to belcampo.com.
Here's what you should 100% get. It are the keto meatballs. They're called that on there. The keto meatballs. Get, by the way, the flank steak looks amazing. It's grilling season. I would stock up on packs of ground beef and ground pork because I like to mix the two of them evenly to make meatballs if I'm making my own meatballs, but I also like to mix them for a burger blend or a meatloaf. Get their boneless ribeye, get their brisket, get their hot dogs, get their, what's the thing that I had that I loved so much? Oh, this Shasta steak looks awesome.
I've never had the Shasta steak.
It kind of looks like a tri-tip. Like I would do the Santa Maria tri-tip, my tri-tip recipe mix with that. That's what I would with that Shasta steak. Yeah. And then, they have a tri-tip though. Do the tri-tip, and they have a tomahawk chop. You guys, this is making me crazy. If you go to their website too, it's really, really well done.
Yeah, no, they don't mess around over at Belcampo. Anya Fernald has become a friend. Love what she does over there. Go check out Belcampo, 15% off, promo code Vinnie. Do it right now. You're going to go, oh yeah, I'll do it later and I'll forget. Do it right now because what Anna and I are talking about right now, this coffee thing doesn't really matter. Belcampo.com, promo code Vinnie. Anna, coffee. What did you want to say?
Well, I wanted to say, number one, I got your Swiss Mountain decaf and served it this morning. I mean, I had 2 coffee makers going. I had the double French in one, and I had the Swiss Mountain decaf in the other. And that was for my father-in-law, who doesn't like, but he loves his coffee. Big Al. He's here. He's going to come probably say hi on the Thursday show, the Thursday recording for the Monday show. He's going to come say hi. But I made that for him with the thought of in the afternoon, I'm going to have my regular little shot of coffee, my leftover coffee and I'll add in the decaf, and then I'll get to try the decaf. And then I walked in the kitchen and everything was just cleaned out. Like they just, all of a sudden, the one day people decide to clean the coffee pot.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow to try it. I just wanted to tell you that I'm really excited to try it. And he loved it.
You're going to love it because as you know, him and Haw had a long time before I decided to make a decaf. And we've learned about the Swiss Mountain process, the Swiss water process.
Swiss water process. I call it Swiss Mountain.
No, we call it Swiss Mountain.
Oh, you guys call it that. Okay, I wasn't making that up.
We can't, no, we call it Swiss Mountain decaf because we use this branded Swiss water process to decaffeinate our coffee. And
so it's your same roast. You're just using a different process to take out the caffeine.
Right. Well, most people use the cheaper version. It's the same stuff they use for dry cleaning to do a
chemical blast or something.
Right. Yeah. And we don't do that. We do a water process, and it works like a charm, and it keeps all the flavor in the coffee too. The beans they're not dead beans. They're lively when you're pouring water on them. You can see it.
Well, I wanted to say this, and I know this is a very much an N=1 experiment, just my experience with caffeine. And that is, I love coffee way more than tea. I don't know. Tea's fine. Tea seems to only be good when you're in England. Like they just steep it for so long. It's almost like coffee.
Well, Serena does it. Serena does it.
They know how to do it.
She literally does tea time 7 days a week. She
I'm
takes
sure.
time in the
And they're
afternoon.
great at it. It's
And
like,
the process that she goes through to make that cup of leaves is just
yeah.
ridiculous.
And don't
And
get me wrong, it's fine, but coffee's just where it's at for me.
yeah.
And I know this will resonate with a lot of the audience too. However, I basically started having monthly boob pain by the time I was like 18 onward.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always ask the gynecologist, and I would have cysts in my boobs too. And the gynecologist would always, this is what they would come back with. You drink too much coffee. And I was like, really? I know my body. I like having my cup in the morning and my cup in the afternoon. I don't feel like that's being excessive, you know? And then, so I would do that horrible thing and get off the coffee, and the boob pain would cyclically come back like it would. And it didn't make a difference. And I would ask another gynecologist, and they would say this, it's caffeine. It causes boob pain or cysts in your boobs.
Right.
I was like, what? You know what I mean? It just never really made sense. And then I just kind of made peace with it. You know what I mean? This is what's going to happen. And I think you know where I'm going with this story, is that once my hormones were balanced through eating the right foods, meaning going NSNG, number one, then, you know, taking the extra step to cut out the other foods that were inflaming my body, I now no longer have monthly boob pain, which is, I know that it's like there's going to be only a small handful of women who've experienced that, but it's pretty awful. It's like when you're first pregnant, you have this horrible boob pain for the first couple of months because your hormones are so out of whack. And it's like having that, but every month. And it wasn't pleasant. And so hearing you tell this stuff, it just goes, I'm remembering back to all the doctors who were like, oh, it's the coffee, honey. You're abusing the coffee. They would blame
everything on coffee. And coffee is one of the best antioxidants. Yeah, look, coffee.
Fuck them for lying, because they were like shaming you for a habit that's not even like the problem.
Anna, it is right now 7:00, 7:15. I'm having another cup of coffee. You would go, why? Are you tired, Vin? No. I just got done with a 2-hour workout. I'm pointing at my rack behind me, my weight rack. I spent an hour there and an hour on the bike. And this is how you get rid of all those free radicals. This is how you make your body right again. This is the best antioxidant you can have post-workout. Everyone talks about, hey, man, hey, broski, bro Namath,
whey protein,
Sugar's bro Jackson, hey, mean bro Green. What do you do after you work out in that window? Okay, the window passed. I just load up a big giant cup of coffee. This thing was full to the top of Athletic Blend, of this coffee right here.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I personally wouldn't drink it that late, but now that you have the decaf, I will.
Oh, I'll drink. As you know, you've seen me.
I love it. I have no, if you know your body, I don't know. I get so mad at these providers who just say like random shit that then for years, you know, when you're 18 and you're told something, then for years you're going, oh, am I doing a bad thing by drinking this thing that I love that makes me feel really good? That I'm not abusing. I know I'm not abusing it. You know what I mean? And so it takes a while to peel that back. And that's why people come to this podcast with NSNG like, well, hold on. I was told to do this a certain way. I just actually had a session with a engineer who is exactly my age, and he's 6'2", and he got up to like 210, but then he got down to like 175 during pandemic because his cholesterol came back high. They put him on the statins. His calcium score was a 45, and he's freaking out. And after everything else, all of his numbers were fine except for that. But now that he's come back after having the statins for a while, can you guess where this is going, where his blood work went?
I'm going to say it went in a positive direction. Oh, he's off of the statins?
No, he's still on the statins. Okay. After taking the statins for a while, his new blood work came back. I'm going to say borderline type 2 diabetic.
Yeah. Every time. And I gotta write this down too. Sorry.
Well, I was just, you know, and we wound up talking for a half an hour, and I sent him to your website, and I swear to God, after I talked to him, I was like, you know what? This is going to be a person by person adventure in my life, because I will talk to people for a half an hour about it.
Well, we did that last night.
You got to go get help.
Last night, you and I, Anna, we were doing Clubhouse last night. We did a mini consult on Clubhouse for this woman who signed up to do a consult in the next week or so. But we got to start it early because I wanted other people to hear her situation. I think her name was Kate.
By the way, it was Katie, and a lot of people loved hearing you kind of dissect that, so that when they book their consult, they're going to know kind of where,
right, what's going to happen,
your brain is moving and what they need to do.
Right.
But it was just so mind boggling to me that he's like, well, I don't eat any added sugar. So I eat the non-fat yogurt with no added sugar, thinking he's doing the right thing. Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm eating oats and quinoa with that, with maybe some nuts and some flax seeds. You're telling me, I know. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I said, go read Vinny's PDF. Just trust me on this and understand. And I told him, call me anytime. Just know that like, you're going to be mad when you find out how much you've been hoodwinked, how much your good intentions have been stolen. And so when you tell that coffee story, it leads me back to that of like, I think I beat myself up for years going like, oh, I'm causing my own boob pain because I'm such an addict. I have to have a cup of coffee in the morning.
And it does nothing of the sort. It's the best antioxidant you can take.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Now.
We went, I expected to talk about coffee for 3 minutes. I did not expect a 25-minute coffee conversation. We could call this episode Coffee Talk.
Coffee Talk.
Yeah.
I do want to, at some point, somebody wrote a question about wanting a sauce 101, because I've never quite explained what the flavors are. Italians will know what the flavors are.
Anna, jot that down.
Yeah, I will. I put it on my list.
We could do that on Monday. I want to do a whole thing. Folks, if you're listening to this on Friday, Anna is doing Sauce 101 on Monday.
Damn straight.
We are doing Sauce 101.
Okay, so you sent me this thing and people sent me this thing.
Well, I'm not there yet. I got one more announcement today.
Okay.
I did a show last Saturday on a woman I met while on the AT Trail last week.
So cool.
Michelle Hummel. They're in West Virginia now because this morning she was singing Take Me Home, Country Road.
You got to.
The place I belong. Will we have to cut that out of YouTube?
I think when you sing it, it's not really qualified as a song.
Yeah. Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. Okay, no. Okay. All right. Anyway, Michelle, I met this woman, just an incredible woman, on the trail. She's in her late 50s. She was a cop her entire life. She raised 2 boys, put them through college. And she said, you know what? I'm retired now. I want to do something for me. And she decided she was going to walk the whole AT Trail. Now, for anyone who didn't hear that show or understand what the AT Trail is, it goes basically north to south, south to north in the United States along the Appalachian Trail.
It's Georgia to Maine.
Yeah, and I think you climb Mount Everest 15 times if you do the whole thing, or 18 times or something weird. And I looked that up. See how many times if you do the whole AT Trail, because it's like 2,100 miles. And I know a lot of people are going to go, Vin, I hate when you have these ultra athletes on because I can't compete with an ultra athlete. This woman is not an ultra athlete. This woman was a cop. She was a desk jockey for the most part of her career. She made it up into
16 times.
How many?
16 times. The number of times an AT through hiker would climb up Mount Everest compared to.
And what is it? 2,100 miles all the way?
2,189.
Yeah.
2,200 miles.
So she's going to be on this trail for 6 months, sleeping in a tent, carrying everything with her. She had a 50-pound pack, 50-pound pack on. And this woman she set out by herself. Once you get on the trail, I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of the documentaries on people on the AT Trail, but there's some great ones out there. You'll see, you meet people, you might walk with them the rest of the way, or you'll meet other people and people come and go and what have you. So it's like a community on the trail. And there are actually people who will go out there and park their pickup truck and then put it, since everyone has a cell phone now, they'll put it out there and go, hey, when you get to the end of this trail, there'll be a black pickup truck. There's an ice chest in the back, all the water and everything else you want, food. It's like they call them trail angels, right? And
awesome.
I met this woman, and I'm the trail devil, and walked with her. The reason we met up was I was walking to a point and then coming down. So Serena was up ahead of me, and I said hi to him, and they heard Serena and me coming back down. They had just they were almost struck by a coiled rattlesnake, and they heard us coming down the trail, and it was hidden behind this rock that we would have to step over. Mm-hmm. So they warned us, hey, there's a rattlesnake, you're going to have to go around. And so we did all that, and we started talking to them. And before long, you start learning about people. And the other girl with her, I just assumed daughter, because she was this cute blonde-headed girl, maybe 25, 30 years old. Turns out they met on the trail. This girl took off by herself to do the AT trail. And she and Michelle are going along. Her name escapes me right now. I'm sorry. But she and Michelle Hummel are going along. And they just, every night, they bunk up together and everything. And so it's safety in numbers type of thing. Michelle starts telling me that, yeah, you know, I'm earning money while I'm out here to give to, I think it's like 5 different charities. She didn't want to do this thing in vain. Right. And I said, well, how much money are you trying to earn? And she said, $25,000. And we've kind of stalled out at $6,900. You know, I guess you can hit your friends and family. And I know how that goes. I was
to say, we've been there.
And look, I did it back whenever I used to, before the internet, before Indiegogo and whatever. I would do it for all of my long distance races. I would hook it to a dog charity or a cancer thing. Maximum Hope, which was Brad Garrett's charity. You know, they would give money to kids with cancer right out of his pocket, and he would match all kinds. It was just, I did it a lot. So it meant a lot to me that this woman's trying to help all these different charities. So I said, Michelle, let's get you on a Saturday show so we can boost it up a bit. And we've taken her from like $6,900 or something like that. Serena was telling me right before I recorded the show today, she's over $8,000 now. So she's only halfway through the trail. She's got another 3 months to go, folks. Let's go help this woman out. It's
can you put it in the show notes so that we can get
it? Yeah, Tallulah, put it in again. It's called She Hikes to Help. Some people said, hey, I looked up She Hikes to Health. No, it's She Hikes, the number 2, Help, HELP. Her name is Michelle Hummel, HUMMEL, and it's on GoFundMe. And if you go to my Instagram, you'll see a link to it there. A couple of days back, you'll see this woman. She looks angelic. So go to GoFundMe and look for She Hikes, the number 2, the word help. She Hikes to Help. Let's get Michelle there. And I noticed a lot of people from the group, you know, people like Dave Rushback and people like that giving generous donation. Our good friend Lonnie Beauchamp, who we haven't talked about in a while, gave a very generous donation.
You sure it's She Hikes to Help?
She Hikes to Help, and it's GoFundMe, not Indiegogo, GoFundMe.
Wait, do we go to GoFundMe.com?
Go to GoFundMe.com.
And then put in She Hikes to Help.
Yeah. It's a little convoluted. Look, she's a cop.
I just want to make sure.
Go to it and see if you can find it. Make sure we're saying the right thing. Anna.
I know. Because you know you got in trouble for giving the wrong code on the Clubhouse.
Oh, no, I didn't give the wrong code. Andy hadn't put it up yet, but it's up now.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, I should probably give that out too. Let's do this first.
Do that.
Because that's going to help people. Do you see it?
It's just my computer won't let me search it. Just give me a second here. You talk about your thing.
Okay, I'll tell you guys about this. We have what's going on, a heat dome right now in this country. So it's extra hot everywhere. We're one of the major sponsors for the Badwater race. Badwater, California is the hottest place in the Western Hemisphere. They now have record heat since they've been recording. 135 degrees or something like that. It's crazy. These athletes have been training out there. They're living on, see, I have some right here. They've been living on this product, my Ultra Salt product. Is this my Ultra Salt? Yeah. I didn't plan to do this. So Ultra Salt, they've been living on this. And we decided, because these athletes are calling us saying, hey, I need more Ultra Salt. Where can I get it? And we're going, well, we're the title sponsor. We'll send you guys out some more. We don't mind. But Andy and I decided to give a 10% discount for anyone who's out there doing anything and you want the Ultra Salt product. You can get 10% off by going to my company, PureVitaminClub.com, and put in Heat Wave and do it and see if it works. Heat Wave, all one word.
Hold on. First of all, nothing that you said was correct about the GoFundMe. So tell me her name again.
Her name is Michelle Hummel. I'm looking at, am I seeing the wrong thing here? Her name is Michelle Hummel. GoFundMe. Do I have to go look this up myself?
Yeah, I went to GoFundMe. I looked up Michelle Hummel. I looked up.
Could it be Indiegogo?
Maybe it is.
We got to find this, Anna. We got to get this right.
I know. I want to make sure we're giving out the right information.
Because
help.
GoFundMe. All right, I'm pulling that up. Let's see here. Crowdfunding. Where do you put a name in?
HUMMEL.
Yeah, I'm putting in she.
I'm not finding it under Indiegogo either.
The number 2.
I mean, we don't have to belabor this. You can put it. We'll figure out the right notes in the show notes, but.
No results. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you know what? We'll figure it out.
I wanted to give this woman a nice plug, folks. We'll figure it out. Tallulah put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys know the promo code. It's let's make sure that works now, Anna. Heat wave.
Okay. It's charity.gofundme.com. If I Googled "she hikes to help Michelle Hummel," it came up, but I had to Google it. But it didn't come up when I searched it on GoFundMe. There it is.
So you did find it.
I did, but I had to Google it. So
was that right? Is it over $8,000 now?
Yeah, $8,045. That's awesome.
Yeah, folks, let's help this woman out. She's out there today. It rained. It pissed rain here today, and I thought about Michelle. Was like, she's out there in the rain right now, right? She's just out there and it's pouring all day. They were telling me early on in the spring when they started, they hit snow days they weren't expecting and sleeping out in the snow and everything else. Let's help these people along. These are average, everyday people, everyday heroes, if you ask me.
I'm putting in $100.
Look at Anna. I think we did the same amount. I think Lonnie gave like $250. I'm bragging about Lonnie.
Oh, well, Lonnie's more generous than we are.
But Lonnie's rich too.
He's got that business.
I think Kurt Lapierre put some money in too. Did he?
The billionaire Don Coddington's going to fund the whole thing.
Yeah, Don, just go drop a $12,000 in there. Let's get it. Come on, broski.
That's great. Okay, now I'm going to go to purevitaminclub.com and I'm going to put
let's make sure my code works.
I'm going to put I'm going to go our products. Ultrasalt, which I'm a gigantic fan of.
The biggest fan.
Add to cart. Go to cart. All caps, heat wave.
I think you just put it any which way. Just heat wave.
Oh, it worked.
It worked. 10%?
10% off, baby.
Boom. Folks, go do that. Stock up. I would tell you, buy 5 or 6 of these. It'll last you
forever.
A year, and you'll get a ton of money off. PureVitaminClub.com, my company, and it's my ultra salt. So there you have it.
Okay, you ready?
So Anna, let's say who this guy is first, because when people started sending me this on Twitter, I just went, okay, it's a joke. There's no way this is real. So we went and I called Anna. I said, Anna, we got to vet this guy. I need to see if this is real. He's a real
guy.
Explain who he is.
And he seems, I will say this. If I have to say something nice, it will be, he sounds very earnest and he sounds sincere in what he's saying. Everything else is horrible.
I don't think he actually believes what he's saying. He can't possibly. I think everybody's trying to get some kind of foothold out there and he's just being irreverent. But explain who he is before I play it, Anna.
Okay, so this guy is called, this video that we've received, he's called S. Matthew Liao. And from his website, it says, I am a philosopher interested in a wide range of issues, including ethics, epistemology, metaphysics, moral psychology, and bioethics. I hold the Arthur Zittern Chair of Bioethics, and I'm the director of the Center for Bioethics and affiliated professor in the Department of Philosophy at New York University. Okay. He's done TED Talks.
Can we find out?
TEDx.
All right. Can we
He's the
find
author
out
of
what
Ethics of Artificial Intelligence, The Right to be Loved, Moral Brains, Philosophical Foundations of Human Rights, Current Controversies in Bioethics. He's been the author or editor of over 60 articles in philosophy and bioethics.
So he's a professional blowhard is what he is.
What I'm about to play for you guys doesn't sound like somebody who has any ethics about bio. That's all I'm saying.
All right, and I'm going to play it. You ready?
Bio meaning human. You're going to play it there? Okay.
Yeah, I got it here. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is about a minute long, and here you go, folks. Enjoy.
So I'll give two examples. So one is that people eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, you know, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy. I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way. So, you know, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering. And
then it cuts off right there. He wants to, now he claims he loves big juicy steaks like everyone else, but he wants us to get off of meat by making it impossible to eat meat, by injecting chemicals into your body to make you get sick if you eat. And so basically, from what I could tell, this guy is Hitler-like. Can I say that? Because he's saying, hey, I want to create a different species of human beings by giving you guys a shot to where it's like the Lone Star tick, and we can change your genetics, your biogenetics, and then all of a sudden you won't be able to eat meat. So we'll create a different natural selection. Is that what you got, Anna? What did you get from this?
As somebody who already has food intolerances and an autoimmune disease that's triggered by said food intolerances, hearing what he's saying makes me absolutely livid, because I have spent my entire life trying to figure out what to eat that won't make me sick. And now they're going to try to make me allergic to the one thing that is okay with me. No, my body, my choice, to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger in the fantastic movie with Emma Thompson, Jr.
I had no idea that's where that came from.
My body, my choice.
You know, the fact that he's even suggesting this and just kind of nonchalantly.
That's why I said he sounds very earnest in his suggestion of it. And this is coming from a bioethicist. I feel like it is completely devoid of any moral turpitude.
Yeah.
Wait, no, turpitude is a bad thing. It's devoid of any positive morality.
I couldn't agree more. You know, and the fact that these people are out there and they're pushing this, you know, I wish I'd known.
Are many people pushing it, or is it just this guy and somebody found a clip of this insanity? Like, that's what I don't know for sure.
And look, as you know, I'm doing my third movie, and I've moved on from the fat, and I'm going into how certain people think certain things. And the biggest problem I'm having in editing is what I'm talking about is so effing crazy that I'm sitting there going, will people think any of this is real? You know, I'm talking about, the fake meat industry and Beyond Burgers and, all this engineered food that they want you to eat and telling you that is better for the planet, right? None of that is true. It's not better for you. It's not better for the planet. As a matter of fact, it causes more of a footprint. It causes more greenhouse gases and on and on and on. It drives me when I'm doing this next movie, I'm being driven up a wall. I even tried to get vegan doctors to come in and talk to me. They refused to. I could not get one vegan doctor. Yeah, they don't mind going on Twitter and are doing a lot of ad hominem with me. They don't, 2 seconds in, they'll remind me that they're a doctor and I'm not.
Like the fruitarian, that was ad hominem. The fruitarian is like, let's have a foot race, Vinny. I'll race you.
We had that guy like, okay, on the show.
I'll race you and you'll win because you're young and fast. Cool.
That was the first time on the show, Anna, when after the show, I was driving home and I didn't even turn my radio on. I just drove in silence. I couldn't. It would just happen. And my phone.
I had to take a Silkwood shower after that one.
Yeah. And by the way, the guy kept going, hey, man, I don't have a horse in the race. I'm just telling people what I do. I don't know why I just eat 50 pounds of fruit every day is what he said. He was a 140-pound man. Mm-hmm. He claimed he ate 50 pounds of fruit every day. Mm-hmm. And I could not question him on that. Neither did Sanjay Gupta. That's where I found him. Sanjay Gupta was interviewing this jerk. And this guy's going, oh, I don't have a horse in the race. Anna and I did a little research on the guy after the show. He was putting on a fruitarian camp every year. And in the 2 weeks that he did it, he brought in more than $2 million in 2 weeks. Turns out he was more of a charlatan than that. He ended up in jail.
That's right. On other topics, not about the fruitarian thing.
A judge threw him in jail because he of all kinds of things. The guy lied to a jury. But he was making me sound crazy. And when he couldn't answer my simple questions, he goes, I'll challenge you to a race right now, a foot race.
It was so weird. It was so like, come behind the bleachers and we'll have a fist fight. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, and Anna and I were looking at each other going, what are you talking about, dude? Foot race? What? Okay, no, we're not going to do that.
But so here's my question about this S. Matthew Liao.
Right.
So he starts off with that thing, which makes me go, it kind of makes me roll my eyes and go, oh, here we go. Another propaganda or somebody who maybe they're not forwarding the propaganda. They buy into the thing about the carbon footprint, about meat being bad for the environment. And there's nothing we can do except for just to stop eating meat altogether. And then in the next breath, he admits that's too hard to do because I love steak just as much as the next guy is kind of what he's saying. And he's earnest about what he's saying. He's a human. He's admitting that. And then he just nonchalantly goes, but what if we just make ourselves allergic to meat so that we don't want it anymore? And I go, wait, what? Like there's so many like crazy ideas that scientists will think of because they're scientists, but it doesn't mean they should all be uttered out loud, written into a study or spoken about on a panel that will be recorded for posterity. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to say everything that you think out loud.
I wish I knew who
That's
was
one of those things where you need to
guy.
shut the fuck up.
I want to know where he is. Anna, can we somehow figure out where this talk is? Can you try to?
I did see I was looking in the Twitter thread. It looks like it's from 2016. His website doesn't look super updated, but it has a clip from his TED talk. Yada yada yada.
I'm trying to see what's written in the corner of that of the thing. I'm trying to see what it is, where he's speaking. Anna, you want to hear it again?
Sure. He's a director of the Center for Bioethics.
Right. And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy.
A weakness of will. A weakness of will. No,
But see, that's what I was talking about earlier about being criticized by the doctor for having the coffee. And because I was weak-willed about coffee, I was causing my own boob pain.
So they're telling you, look, we'll give you a shot where you'll get sick if you eat meat. So you won't be able to eat it anymore. So weakness of will. Can you imagine? That's like chemical castration. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? There are people out there whenever say, well, we can let this multi-time rapist out of jail again, but we have to chemically castrate. People lose their mind about this. But this asshole, this ethics guy, bioethics, is doing this. And we're sitting there applauding this. I mean, Anna, can we figure out where he was speaking? Can you see what's written in the corner? I can't read it. It's too small for me. I want to know, this has got to be some vegan convention.
I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way. So, but
I don't think you would admit that at a vegan.
Right. So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you.
Can you imagine? He wants to give you a disease to stop you from eating meat. Am I getting that wrong in any way, shape, or form?
We want to mess with your body. We want to rearrange how your immune system works.
Hey, Vinnie, you're too weak. You're too weak-minded. But that's okay, because Matthew Liao.
But what about this infected tick nonsense?
That's the analog version. We could get one of these drug companies to make the digital version, where you don't have to go get a Lone Star tick to bite you. We can just give you a little shot. Where are you going to do? Get the juice from the Lone Star tick? Well, how are you going to do that? Mimic it in a lab? Is that what was going on in Wuhan? I wonder.
Whoa!
When something got out that wasn't supposed to get out. Isn't that what we're discovering now? I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
I don't know. It does go into that conspiracy theory land of like, and you and I are not conspiracy theorists or anti-vaxxers or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
And it honestly is a case by case basis. And you're right. Don't come from a meat. Don't you come from a meat. I have been working my entire, life to make sure I can figure out what to eat. And then the past 10 years to make sure I can help other people figure out what to eat, to help them. And now I'm trying my darndest to do sustainable stuff and get these wonderful ranchers and farmers supported. And it's just like fighting this kind of stupidity.
And this is coming out of colleges. This guy's got advanced degrees.
He's in the School of Public Health at NYU. He's one of the professors.
Oh, he's at NYU. Okay. Say no more. I mean, schools aren't even schools anymore. I get it. You want to become a doctor or a lawyer, you got to go to school. But some of the crap that's coming out of these colleges, man, I swear to you, I just don't know. I don't know if I want to get old or older.
Right.
No, folks, I'm not going to commit suicide tonight. I promised down that we'd do one more Monday show. And then maybe. We'll see. But, I worry
looks
about
like he talks about some other interesting things like organ donation and, you know what I mean? And so that's why I'm like, does he hear himself?
Was he just...
It doesn't seem very ethical to want to alter a very natural basic function of the human body. However, again, that's what the anti-vaxxers are arguing about, don't alter your immune system in that way. So listen, and I disagree with that. I'm okay with it. I got vaccinated.
Look, so I looked around and went, you know what? I'm living in a world with my parents and people like that. And I don't know what this shot's going to do, but if it can help the world be a better place right now, I'm in. I'll
tell you what, though, I will hate that vaccine if I found out it made me allergic to meat.
Oh, I will kick that vaccine in the nuts.
Yeah, squarely.
Yeah.
And I'll get some with the clogs, the wooden clogs.
Oh, I would put on 2 pairs of wooden clogs. Clogs over clogs. It would
You
be
get
like
the
the
size
Russian
that's your
doll.
size, and then you get the size that's a bigger size.
Yeah, it would be like the Russian doll of clogs.
Yeah.
And then I would kick.
And then we would dance on CW Post's grave.
Oh yeah, and then after that, kick some ass.
Yeah. We go on a clog tour of the
Yeah,
nation.
and look, I don't know what to say about the vaccine. People might go, "I'll never listen to you again because you're so stupid. You think that." Fine. You know, I made a decision. It might have been the worst decision in the world. Might have been the best. I don't know. I know that I have a compromised system because of cancer. I still have a chronic form of leukemia, and took my chances. All right. If you don't want to take it,
to me, it's a calculated risk. And if you want to take it, then take it. And if you don't want to take it, then don't take it. I don't really care.
I'm good either way.
But I'm saying I don't know. The food thing just hits a real nerve with me.
It does. When this guy makes 0 sense.
Also, too, when you and I are working very, very hard to get the word out, we spend a lot of time on the socials doing these things, doing clubhouses, doing podcasts. We're about to do a live YouTube. We spend a lot of time. You spend a lot of time doing your other podcasts. I spend a lot of time, you know what I mean, doing my live videos and spending time in my groups and telling people and helping them and advising and say, here's how you can get the food to combat that problem. And not in the way that they're telling you, in the way that's a sustainable way that's going to help the farmers and it's going to help the ranchers. And I heard very early on, long before I even knew half of this stuff, when I saw that Food Inc. documentary, probably 2005 to 2007-ish, that range.
Yeah.
And I was so upset and crestfallen about the whole thing, about our food supply. And they said at the end, they were like, you know what? You can choose with your pocketbook how things are going to go. You can economically, and trust me, the companies will follow. And what I've noticed is the companies have followed. Now they follow with a little bit of an eye roll because they'll be like, oh, keto certified, paleo certified, all this bullshit, right. But you still have to be able to read between the lines. But at least there's keto certified in stores now. That didn't exist before. We were told that's ketoacidosis, but it's true. Like, people started to get educated. You and I are spreading the word. And I just got to trust that we just keep getting the word out there, and they're not going to make some goddamn, bionic tick to make us allergic to meat. That is the most stupid, dumb thing I've ever heard. That is dumb with a capital D. And that was a Run DMC quote. And don't you come for Run DMC, Vinny. Don't you come for them, because they are amazing.
Reverend Run is the best. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm not talking about Reverend Run here. You were talking about Beastie Boys, and I stand by my.
I'm not going to have this conversation. I'm taking my glasses off.
You took them off too. I'm not kidding. Folks,
you
want to see Anna without glasses? Go to the YouTube.
Go to the YouTube.
You'll see Anna without the glasses at minute 57:13.
Can we be done?
Yeah, we can be done. I'm sick. I'm
you know
sick.
what? You know what will not make you allergic to meat? You know what?
Cappelli.
You don't need a tick to infect you to make you want to eat it.
Villa Cappelli.
Thank you.
Amen.
Villa Cappelli is the best olive oil on the planet. They're the OG sponsors of this podcast. And in fact, I'm going to the site now. I know it took a little while. More products arriving soon. As you may have noticed, we are unfortunately out of stock on a lot at the moment. With Paul's passing and the COVID pandemic, there were just some logistical issues we had to take care of. So sorry for the delay. Be sure to hit the notify me button. So this is what I want you guys to do, because here's what's going to happen. All these products are going to arrive stateside, and everybody who hit the notify me button is going to get notified, and they're going to buy their shit, and then y'all will miss out on it. So go to Villa Cappelli, sign up to make sure you get notified, because when the stuff comes back in, you're going to want to get this oil. Selfishly, I've been extremely pissed off at Steven, because I'm like, I am out of oil, and that's a big problem for me. So it's coming literally any day now, and you're going to want to get your hands on it. Plus, use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE. You'll get 10% off your order. So go and sign up to get notified. Get the 10% off your order. Discount code Vinnie, VINNIE, not with the wimpy Y. Go to Pure Vitamin Club. Use the discount code HEATWAVE. Get 10% off your Ultra Salt. Go get the Pure Coffee Club coffee. Go get the Eat Happy Kitchen sauce, which, by the way, now we have subscriptions, which if you do the subscription, like with Vinny's stuff, you'll get 10% off of every order. Plus, you can log in and change, this month I want to try the pink crema. And this month I want to try the puttanesca. You can do all that stuff. I'm basically copying Vinny, and I hope it works. Oh, I have one more thing to say, Vinny.
Go on.
I want to give a shout out to Hugh from Hawaii. Hugh from Hawaii messaged me, and he said, I'm going to order your sauces. And I was like, you live in Hawaii. It's going to be real expensive to ship. And he goes, well, no, I'll get the case and I'll get the free shipping. And I said, the free shipping only applies to people in the contiguous US. I'm so sorry. And he did not write me back. And then the next day there was an order for a multi-pack, a variety pack.
Nice.
From Hugh.
Look at Hugh.
And you know what? Hugh spent an ungodly amount of shipping. And I immediately got a copy of Eat Happy 2 and put it in an envelope because, by the way, I can send the book for $4 media mail.
Because it's media mail.
Because it's media mail. And so I immediately signed it to him and put it in the thing. And so I just wanted to tell you listeners who are in Alaska and Hawaii.
Free book.
If you order that sauce, I will see that order come through and I will immediately send you a book. Absolutely.
Whether you want it or not,
whether you want it or not, give it to a friend, use it as kindling. I don't give a shit. But I got to tell you that that made my heart explode with love that Hugh would do that because I don't know if I would want to do that.
Yeah, it's a
big ask.
Nice.
So I just want to say
I don't think anyone does what we do when it comes to customer service. It's
people are shocked. Shout out to Mariano Reynoso, who says hi to you, by the way.
Oh,
and he talked to him on the phone on Sunday, and he was like, "This is Anna," and I was like, "Yeah." What's up?
On a Sunday? And you
on
call
a Sunday? I'm like, that's right. What can I do for you?
It always drives people crazy that we do that.
But I had to say that. Oh, and definitely go to the show notes or go to Indiegogo and put in She Hikes to Help, Michelle Hummel. I just gave $100. Vinny gave $100, and be generous and donate. It will come back to you.
And thank all of you guys that have given so far. I'm checking all the time, so I will see your names. I think Dave Roshback gave. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier.
Very nice.
A bunch of guys that I meet when I'm on the road and that kind of thing. He's good friends with Davey. I don't know if you know who Davey is. So all those guys are, they're out there giving, and I appreciate it. On behalf of Michelle, folks, you know what to do. You've heard all about Anna. Go do it. Eat Happy Kitchen, the cookbooks, Eat Happy 2, and AnnaVocino.com. Also, before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner, bookmark it. Use it every single time it puts coal on the fire, gets our train down the track. I do see the fact that you guys have been going to the Superfan page. I check it every morning. There's a few people that trickle in. I really appreciate that you guys do that because it's how I keep this podcast going. Simple. Cost a lot to run it. I appreciate that you guys are putting up the money. It's kind of like PBS over here. So on behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with enthusiasm.